number 13, the real deal on Gender X. This is something you and I absolutely agree about.
Yes.
So I believe that the implementation of robotics is now going to accelerate very quickly.
Yes.
And the number one challenge of robotics is how do you create legal and financial and accounting systems to manage it? You're talking about new systems for every county, every state, every country, globally. I mean, from a legal and financial standpoint, it's a huge challenge to do it.
Right.
Now, the way to simplify it enormously is to just take the human system and slip the robots into the human system. And the beauty of that is you have a state and local and payroll taxation system that the deep state is financially dependent on. They don't want to lose that. Okay? So if you can set it up so that a robot can be a citizen and a robot can have a birth certificate, you can slip it right through the payroll system. And this will save you decades of controversy, nightmare work. It's very brilliant in its own sort of genius way, in a Machiavellian way. And what you need, though, is you need one for a robot to be a citizen, which we see Saudi Arabia moving to establish. And then you need, on the certificate process, the possibility of a Gender X.
Right.
And what do we see? We see states and now New York City moving to create a third gender option on birth certificates and driver's licenses, Gender X.
Right.
Now, everybody presumes that this is all some LGBT, let's make the transgender group happy.
No.
It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the deep state finding a way to implement robotics very quickly that doesn't hiccup their cash flows.
That's right.
And there you have it.
That's it.
Now.
Totally agreed. I don't need to say anything more. It's exactly what's going on. And just to give a historical perspective on what they're doing, let's turn the clock back to the late Middle Ages and the rise of the first corporations. What did they do in order to secure those cash flows?
Well, they allowed a corporation to be a person.
Bingo. Precisely.
Bingo.
That's
now
exactly.
They need a robot to be a person.
Bingo. Precisely. Precisely. Yeah. This makes perfect sense. It's an old thing that they're doing. They're just updating
doing it again.
They're just doing it again. This is the 13th century all over again, folks.
Luther, come home.
Yeah, with robots. Yeah, precisely. Luther, come home.
Well, but here's the thing. They're not going to stand up and say, look, we want robots to be able to have the rights of humans so that we, so we can put you out of work without hiccuping the state and local cash flows that we use to build space programs. They can't say any of that.
No, they can't.
So what did they say? Well, one of the headlines we're using is Swedish professor accused of bigotry for saying men and women are biologically different. So what you have to do is you have to promote this completely Orwellian, bizarre stuff about.
Well, it's Orwellian, but it's Gnostic. The fundamental tactic here is defining reality through the manipulations of language. This is what's behind corporate personhood, and this is what they're doing here all over again. It's just, to me, it's obvious. I mean, it just come on. They've done this before, folks.
Well, except for this, someone in the second or third quarter wrote a marvelous article. I put it up on the website that documents the financing of the transgender movement and shows you that there is no transgender movement. There's just a lot of money from a relatively small number of places.
Yep.
And once this is all over, now they don't mention they're using entrainment, but I think they're using entrainment too. They're destroying a lot of, you have all these young people who are being entrained into going through surgery, taking hormones, doing all these things that can really harm their body. And then when it's all over, they're going to wake up and they're not going to know what happened to them. Yeah. It's pretty ugly. Anyway, that's the real deal on Gender X. So just get ready for the robots. Well, but the other thing is, they want to be free to play with mixing up humans and robotics and AI. And they want the full gamut from 100% human to 1% human cyborg,
Yeah.
the full gamut from human to cyborg, to all be in the same system, because from the view of the people at the very top, it's the same thing.
Right.
Labor.
Right. Yeah. It's a convenient way to do exactly what you're saying. If you want to create the cyborg, what do? Well, you make the machine a person. You make the robot a person.
Labor's labor.
Labor's labor.
So
Person's
in
person.
2000, I wrote a piece, sort of my magnus opus on the solution to everything. And one of the things I said was, don't worry about whether aliens are running things. What you need to understand is whoever is running things are alien to us.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether, as a species, they're human or not. They
alien
are
and
culturally alien to us.
Yes. Yes.
Right.